I'm Kevin Shaw. Over the years, I've come across many folder structures, and here I'm going to share mine, and I have some time-saving tips too. Here's one of my active project drives. Each project has its own root folder, which contains everything I need to reboot the project, even though some of those assets were created somewhere else. Basically, copies and backups are in there as well as source files. Let's take a closer look. My first tip is a huge time saver. I don't want to think about folder structure. I want it to be automatic. So on all my project drives, I have a copy of my project template zip. And this is the file you can download for free from finalcolor.com. The underscore at the beginning of the file name keeps it at the top of the list. To start a new project, I simply double-click the zip and rename the project folder. Inside the main folder, there are 8 subfolders. Not all folders are used in every job. Folder 1 is audio, and inside you can see there are further subfolders. I import audio here for the archive, but usually I copy audio files to a separate drive for better performance. Folder 2 is backups, which is very important for archiving or deep storage, but it's also my insurance policy. Inside you can see I make regular project backups and save power grades. Sometimes at the end I also make a resolve archive, a .dra, usually with consolidated files. Folder 3 is sources, and I prefer to separate original media from intermediate clips and masters. It makes it easier if I have to supply archive material to companies like Netflix. There are 3 categories under sources: camera, titles, and visual effects. I work color managed, so it makes sense for me to identify and separate different cameras at the ingest stage. The titles folder includes both graphics and subtitles, and VFX is separated into to and from folders. Folder 4, Consolidated, is where I would keep consolidated files or proxies, but usually this stays empty. I do have a special use for this folder though. If I'm preparing a class and need to share and upload media, I consolidate the content and put it here to save space and time on the upload. My rule is that anything in this folder must exist in its native form somewhere else. Folder 5, Edit, which in my case is really conforming. In here I keep edit lists, of course, but all the versions, so I have a full history. The Documents folder contains everything from set notes to delivery specifications, and if there's a contract, that goes in here as well. The References folder has at least a guide, edit, QuickTime, but sometimes it has JPEGs for inspiration, or if we've done some pre-grade looks, they go in here. Folder 6 is LUTS, and honestly I don't use LUTS much these days. When I do, they're in the Resolve folder. But sometimes clients, mostly DPs, will send the LUT they want to start with. And this is my backup folder to hold that. I'd also put DCTLs in here. Folder 7 is renders, and that's anything I export before final approval. Sometimes these will be intermediates that are part of the workflow, but remember, if it's part of the VFX pipeline, that gets moved into Folder 3, Sources, VFX to VFX. There might also be work in progress approval copies here too. Folder 8, Exports, I split into stills for thumbnails and PR, and masters, which is where all the deliverables go. Having them all in one folder makes it so much easier to check them off. At the end of the job, I export the Resolve project one last time and put it into the O2 Backups Projects folder. I check that all the audio is in folder 1, and then I use Hedge to back up the whole project folder to external drives with checksums. It's easy to modify my structure to suit your own needs, so if you haven't got something similar on the go, download the zip file. It might just change your life. For more specific help, I offer consultations, and please check out my classes. Please subscribe, and if you have an idea for another episode, leave it as a comment below. Happy coloring!